So we're trying to use different methods, like the numbers that we might get who request to be on our mailing list, or the number of folks who are part of our library system and so forth. So we have to be kind of unique about it because we don't get the numbers or the identifiers like the African American Cultural Center or the other ethnic groups. So
yeah, it's certainly a problem all around for the gender and sexual minority communities.
Yes.
Trying to figure out what the counts are.
Exactly. Yeah. But we definitely feel like there's a critical mass, there's a critical group of students there. We have a pretty strong presence on campus. I think people see us as equal as the other cultural centers on campus as far as, so we do a number of things to keep that visibility up, including our visibility and awareness campaign. Can I show you
yes, which was 2 days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, and we hope that it goes all semester. So we just got this. Every year we create a new message or design and then we give out these shirts for free. And this year we were concerned because funding got cut, through our budgets. But SUBOG provided a synergy fund and we were able to apply. And what's interesting is that they didn't fund other t-shirt driven programs, but because they understood the value of this program and how popular this program, they funded it without problems. So I brought some for you. If we don't have your size or color, we will send it to you.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want to briefly explain what SUBOG is for the folks who don't know?
Sure. SUBOG is one of our wonderful student organizations on campus. They actually have access to much of the general funds or fees that the students pay, and then they do a great deal of campus programming, from big social programs to big educational. So they bring big speakers, or they have big events. So it's a big programming board, and it's all by students. And they make the decisions about how
students deciding how to spend their money on campus.
Yes, absolutely. So it's very empowering.
Yeah.
And they're very popular, very well known, very organized. And the students who get involved in SUBOG, they certainly take away some great skill sets, that are transferable.
They do some pretty cool stuff too. They had a free outdoor concert that attracted a lot of people. It was a concert for a cause, and there was a lot of tabling there last fall. But they actually had Anne Berlin headlining, even though it was a free concert. I mean, Anne Berlin came, and it definitely drew a lot of people, as well as some local bands.
Nice.
Yeah. That's great. What a great school.
And I saw in your newsletter that you're doing Friday night coffee houses.
Yes, it's one of our popular programs. I guess I should talk a little bit about that. There's always a couple of staff members that organize it. They have to have themes because we find that those are more popular or more well attended. And so I think this coffee house, they maybe were looking at New Year's resolutions. I don't know. I can't remember what they're doing. But it's always fun, and it's a casual environment for people just to come in. And we know that sometimes walking through the doors of the Rainbow Center is not always easy, especially for the LGBTQ community. So we try to create a lot of different programs to make it welcoming for all different folks. So there might be folks I see at the coffee house, but they may not be at the Out to Lunch lecture series or whatever. So that way we're making sure we're targeting different parts of the community along with our allies. So it's really fun usually, and it's interactive, so it gives them time to be social. They're not just going to come there and just sit and feel isolated there. Right. So
the Out to Lunch series, in fact, we will be part of that sometime in the spring. We need to obviously we need to talk
Actually,
to you about
I think we're going to do a whole unique program. And have you be a part of that. So make it a little bit bigger than that. Now, Out to Lunch is pretty popular. We just had our first day today, and we have about 20 students enrolled in the class, which is really cool. Yeah, I've had up to 26 students in that class, and they come for all different backgrounds and reasons, and it's really cool. So a lot of our queer study classes are not just now for the LGBT. We're attracting a wider audience. So.
Yeah, it certainly is valuable no matter what business you go into, but certainly there are some key areas when you're looking at political science and business administration.
Absolutely.
That being aware of queer issues is going to be very important down the road.
Yes.
Sure.
Yep. And I think people are seeing that. So.
Or nursing.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, sure,
nursing.
but I mean, from a lot of aspects, we're recruiting qualified candidates to workers who may be about to transition in the job. I think that Fortune 500 companies in particular are realizing more and more that what they're going to get is better employed.
That's
And
right.
so they're more and more being very accepting and supportive of it.
Right.
So that kind of a class, I think, could help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just basically giving people who may not have it a background and a vocabulary to talk about it.
Here's something you're going to encounter in your work life.
Which has been the argument for education all along, and not excluding these topics from school systems.
Right.
Because even if your family never has that, when your kid hits 7th grade and the janitor is transitioning in school, you're going to run into somebody.
Right.
Sure.
So, educate people about it.
Yeah. It's almost impossible not to now.
Yep. And now we're seeing folks, with students, things are happening a lot earlier.
Yes.
And so that's a real issue, even, coming out around sexual orientation and also gender identity and expression. We're seeing that. So we feel like we're making a shift in how we've done business. It's not just about when they're about to graduate, juniors and seniors. We got folks coming in like, hello, I'm here, what do you got for me?
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, there does seem to be that trend that things are happening earlier and earlier, which is a really good thing. It's also just a little bit scary because I think it sometimes puts us in a slightly awkward position in that we frequently get questions about people, how early can somebody transition, and certainly those that don't like us very much would accuse us of
Performing mutilating surgical procedures on 6-year-olds.
Right.
Yeah, which isn't true, clearly.
Right.
But it is wonderful that the youth now are feeling that they can actually do some of these things, that they can come out and that they can.
There's enough support and enough understanding out there that you can express those feelings, those desires, that truth about yourself.
And it's not as terrifying as it once was.
You don't have to repress it for several decades.
Exactly. I was just about to say, you
Decades.
go through fewer decades of absolute anguish.
And therapy.
Yeah. So that is a really good thing. And obviously you guys are on the cusp of this. You see. Yeah, and certainly colleges, we love colleges, universities, colleges, because they tend to be very open and welcoming for us.
So college was certainly the one of the linchpins for me. I didn't have the support when I went to college, and certainly not where I was, but just the exposure that you get in academia to broader ideas, to a broader range of people and experiences, international students, etc. Certainly had a big impact on me for down the road. It got me thinking that I didn't have to live in the little bubble that I grew up in.
Sure. Yeah. And eventually, your horizons have broadened to the point that you're actually eating spicy food. Anyway, we won't.
Raw pickled peppers.
Anyway, so.
Well, one of the questions that we've gotten a lot on the show, and I'd like to get your takes on it, is with as much understanding and support as that's out there nowadays, what's the importance of coming out? Why is coming out still such a big deal?
Yes, we hear this question all the time.
Really?
Yes, yeah. People don't understand. It's like, well, everybody knows it's just natural. Just go live your life. We don't really want to hear about it. And yet the whole coming out process is still so important. But I'd like to hear from you guys why you might think.
Great.
I know this is a curveball at you. But,
Right.
Yeah,
Do you
it
wanna
is certainly
go?
our callers
Sure.
frequently ask that question.
Yeah.
Which,